What is going on everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and in today's video I'll be doing my round 1 AFL tips of the 2023 season. Round 1, first game of the round, first game of the year, Richmond versus Carlton. Always a very tough game to tip. In fact, every game of round 1 is really a very tough game to tip, just because upsets can happen because you have no idea how every team's going to perform, especially because it's the first round of the season. And this is a perfect example of that. Richmond versus Carlton. Who on earth do I tip here? Both teams have had, shaky pre-seasons. I feel like Richmond definitely have a lot more upside, and they definitely played better in the pre-season. Carlton do have a few injuries here and there, like Sam Walsh. I reckon this game is going to be won by Richmond, and I reckon they're going to get the job done in a close, scrappy contest. It's not going to be too entertaining, but I reckon Richmond will get the chocolates by 14 points. Moving on to the second game of the round, Friday night, Geelong versus Collingwood at the MCG. Again, a tough game to tip. This is really going to be a tough battle. Both teams looking to get a good start to the season. I do agree with what people say. A good start to the season means everything. It just sets up your season. So this is a very important match for both of these sides. It's going to be a very, very tough contest. However, I am going to back in the Pies in an upset, and I reckon they're going to win the game by 2 goals. Moving on to the first game of Saturday, North Melbourne versus West Coast at Marvel Stadium. This is again a tough game to tip. Both teams have surprisingly had pretty good pre-seasons, to be honest. They both look really, really good and very, very competitive. I am going to back in North Melbourne just because it's their home game, and I reckon they are the better team, and I reckon they will improve a lot this year. So I'm going to tip them to win by 19 points. Moving on to Adelaide Oval, probably one of the toughest games to tip this round. Port Adelaide versus Brisbane. Geez, Brisbane's pre-season has been elite. They are playing electric footy. They look like the best team in the competition by far. However, Port Adelaide, it's their home game. They are looking to improve this year, and they should improve. They've had a good trade period with picking up guys like Horn Francis. Their players are only going to get better, like Butters. So yeah, it's a very, very tough game to tip. However, I am going to back in the Lions. Don't know if it's an upset. They're probably favourites narrowly. But I reckon Brisbane are too good, and I reckon their midfield will just get on top a bit too much. And I reckon they'll get the job done by 10 points. Or Port Adelaide will put up a really, really good fight. Moving on to Melbourne versus Western Bulldogs at the MCG. And boy, both teams have had really, really good pre-seasons. The Bulldogs have been playing elite footy. They've been playing like a top 6 side. However, Melbourne have been playing like a bloody top 2 side. They look very, very hungry and very upset over last year's straight sets loss in the final series. I reckon they're up for redemption this year, Melbourne, and I reckon they're going to have a fantastic year. However, Bulldogs are going to put up a fantastic challenge, a fantastic fight, but I reckon Melbourne will be too good, and they'll get the job done by 19 points. Moving on to Gold Coast versus Sydney at Metricon, or whatever the hell they call that stadium now. Gold Coast always seem to beat Sydney, especially at the SCG. They don't play too often in Gold Coast, but now they are. I have a feeling Sydney will have like a 5-goal to 6-goal lead, and then Gold Coast will all of a sudden kick like 5 unanswered goals in the third quarter. But I do reckon the Swans will hang on and win in their close game, and I reckon they'll get the job done by 14 points. And I do have a big call. I reckon Isaac Heaney will kick 5 goals. Geez, Giants versus Adelaide. A couple weeks ago you would think Adelaide will get the job done by 30 points, as everyone thinks Giants are a bottom 2 side. However, after their pre-season match against Gold Coast, I know it's just a pre-season match, doesn't mean anything, but they actually look like a decent side and look like they could even push to make the finals. So don't write off the Giants. They got nothing to lose this year, which is generally why they could do well. However, Adelaide, what a pre-season they've had. Geez, they just play such good, hard, contested pressure footy, and that's just the best way to play, most entertaining way to play. And yeah, they're just a fantastic side looking to make finals this year. I reckon this is going to be a thrilling contest. I reckon this is going to be the best match of the round. I reckon Adelaide will get the job done by 3 points in an absolute thriller. Moving on to Hawthorn versus Essendon at the MCG. Another tough game to tip. Both teams probably expected to finish in the bottom 6. If you look at Essendon's midfield on paper compared to Hawthorn, there is a huge gap, and that's simply why I'm going to tip Essendon. I reckon Stringer, Mirrett, Parrish are all going to have days out, and I reckon Essendon will pull together a stunning 28-point win. Moving on to the final game of the round, St Kilda versus Fremantle at Marvel Stadium. I do reckon Fremantle are going to dip this year, and in fact I actually predicted them to miss the finals. St Kilda on the other hand, you never know with them, especially at the start of the season. They can put together some good wins and play some really good footy, and at times they can be a tough team to beat. It's at Marvel Stadium. I am going to go for an upset. I reckon St Kilda will be too strong and get the job done by 11 points. But there you go guys, those are my round 1 tips of the 2023 AFL season. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a big fat thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.